Good afternoon. This is Patty Perfect, and here we are at the beautiful Sequoias in Portola Valley to visit with Wini Steiner, about to celebrate 100 years of a wonderful life.
Many years later, my first husband died. As I think I told you, Mary Beth was 2.5, and he asked his very good friend Russ Steiner if he'd marry me because he didn't want me to be without help. And Russ said he would as soon as he was available, but he was married at the time to someone who was diabetic, and she thought she could eat all the sweets she wanted as long as she took enough insulin to balance the sweet. And one day she took too much insulin, and that was the end of her.
Oh dear.
And then Russ asked to marry me, and I said, I have to be sure I love you first. There's no sense in getting married unless you love someone.
Right.
So we decided that one night a week I'd take him to an inexpensive Chinese restaurant and we'd have dinner. And the next night he would take me to an Italian restaurant and we'd have pasta, meatballs, inexpensive. And that way we got to know each other. And I saw that he always read the menu to me and pulled out my chair for me and consulted me with everything that needed to be done. And we always left a big tip because we knew that the food was inexpensive. The people probably didn't leave big tips. So we left a big one. And that's how we managed.
If the family watches this, just know that at this point in Mother's life, she mixes up people and decades, and that there was no deal with my father and Russ Steiner, but Russ was a good man, and they re-met many years later and married.
That's good. Thank you.
Let me see.
Russ liked to travel, and we went around the world twice. We flew once, and we sailed once. And he arranged with the travel agent that whenever we stopped for the night, we'd have a private room with our own bathroom with toilet and shower.
Good.
So we didn't have to share with other people. So that was very nice.
Mother, why don't you tell about coming to this country? You and your family came to this country when you were 6.
Oh, came from England to
Yes. Tell about that.
Oh, yes, my parents were teenagers when they were married. My mother was only 4 feet 11. She was tiny. And Arthur Gould was a teenager, and he'd never seen such a pretty little girl. So it was love at first sight, and he asked her to marry him. And they didn't realize that when two men and a woman got together, a baby could result. And that's what happened. It was a big surprise to them when I was born. So
Then they brought you to the United States.
Excuse me, and for the record, my cousins keep track of the genealogy, and their records are more accurate than this recollection. Her parents married relatively late in life.
when we were in China, we saw the Great Wall of China, which was meant to keep foreigners out and to keep China for the Chinese. And it went up and down. It was a mountainous country, covered all around.